From a barefoot runner to the founder of a billion-dollar shoe brand. That's the incredible story of Kihachiro Onitsuka, the visionary entrepreneur behind ASICS. Was it all a cup of tea for him? Hell no. He had shed his blood, sweat, and tears to achieve what he thought. So, without much ado, let's get into his incredible story. Kihachiro Onitsuka is the man who went from barefoot beginnings to creating the billion-dollar sensation we know as ASICS. He kicked off life with a less than cushy start. Born into poverty, his childhood playground was often more dirt than grass. But you know what they say about tough times? They mold the mightiest stories. Born in the northern side of Tori, Sakaguchi's early days were far from glamorous. With minimal experience and an ambition that sounded downright delusional, Sakaguchi went on a journey that would later lace up the world in the iconic shoes of ASICS. After a brief stint in the military during World War II and a mere 3 years at a big corporation, he decided corporate life wasn't his cup of tea. Fed up with management and the corporate culture, Sakaguchi, now adopting the name Kihachiro Onitsuka after being adopted by his wife's family, had a higher calling in mind. Some people didn't believe Sakaguchi's unusual plans to go global, but he had a secret weapon. People thought Sakaguchi was crazy and lacked the business savvy to handle problems that not even the octopus could see coming. Moving up went on. Sakaguchi, who had been in the military for a short time and was unhappy with business life, committed himself to a higher goal, making everyone healthier. His mind buzzed with thoughts of becoming a shoemaker, not just any shoemaker, but one who could craft shoes specifically for sports. Why sports shoes? Because, as Onitsuka saw it, young athletes needed footwear that could unleash their full strength and break records. But Onitsuka was a novice, utterly clueless about the intricacies of crafting sports shoes. His mind was brimming with ideas and a sense of purpose, but no practical know-how. The canvas slippers and tabi socks commonly used for sports were not cutting it, and Onitsuka felt a calling to change that. A request from a high school basketball coach prompted his first venture into the realm of sports shoes. Eager for the challenge, Onitsuka threw himself into the work. Late nights were spent huddled in his workplace, watching, imitating, and experimenting until he had a rudimentary model. However, when presented to the coach, the shoe received a less than enthusiastic response. Undeterred, Onitsuka observed the players' feet during their gym sessions, seeking their opinions and desires. Iteration after iteration followed, but the grip remained a persistent problem. Then, a stroke of culinary inspiration hit him one summer evening. As he savored his mother's pickled cucumber dish, the suction cups of octopus tentacles caught his attention. Could that principle be applied to shoe soles? Now, the octopus's suction cups were the odd inspiration for the perfect shoe grip, which changed the game for basketball players. So, the innovation gave rise to the suction-cupped basketball shoe. It wasn't perfect. Initially, the grip was too firm, leading players to fall. Onitsuka modified the shoe for rapid push-offs and unexpected stops, while keeping the suction depressions. Thus, the Tiger basketball shoe was conceived, eventually helping a high school team win a state title. This revolutionary shoe didn't have an easy road to success, though. Not enough people knew about it for it to be widely distributed despite its high quality. Onitsuka decided to take matters into his own hands by selling the shoes himself, traveling across regions while sleeping on benches in train stations and subsisting on ramen noodles and a few pieces of bread. Fast forward to 1953, and high school basketball teams are rocking Onitsuka Tiger shoes, winning tournaments left and right. The buzz around these shoes' increased grip and performance spreads like wildfire, attracting attention from all corners. But when TB hit, his determination was put to the test in a major manner. Onitsuka's condition worsened rapidly without a treatment in sight, until a breakthrough drug suddenly reversed the trend. Mycobacterium tuberculosis hit just as he was getting ready to increase his selection of shoes. The prediction this time around was devastating. Despite confinement to the 88 square foot space allotted to the night watchman, Onitsuka continued his fight. The illness may have weakened his voice, but his will was unyielding. Sakaguchi's tenacity shined through despite being hospitalized and facing a grave diagnosis. His health was restored thanks to a novel treatment that sprang on the scene like a ray of hope. As he began to regain his strength, the flame that raged within him became even more intense. The novice cobbler broadened his scope of work by venturing into the world of athletic shoes. However, fate inflicted a second blow in the form of the TB mycobacterium. Even though the diagnosis felt like a sentence to death, Sakaguchi continued the fight against the sickness, even though he was confined to an 88 square foot night watchman's chamber. His voice was silenced as a result of the mycobacterium that caused tuberculosis to spread to his throat. He ignored the incident and continued on his way. Every morning, he gathered his staff around the bedside and communicated with them through written instructions. He was on the verge of passing away when a second miracle occurred in the form of a new medication. Sakaguchi received not one, but 2 medical miracles when his fever broke and his voice returned. He recommitted himself to producing athletic shoes with fresh zeal and determination. Sakaguchi read a lot about marathons to learn about the pain of blisters that runners felt. In the days before the scientific study, he read a lot of European and American reports and Japanese patents to find answers. One fatal night, while thinking in the bath, he had an aha moment. Doctors knew more about the human body than shoemakers did. He then went to the university's medical department to speak with a professor, where he learned that blisters were similar to burns. What is the remedy for this? Inflammation can be eased with cool shock heat. When a taxi overheated, the passengers had to cool their feet with water. Sakaguchi eagerly used this information to design a shoe specifically for marathon runners. The preliminary findings, however, were less than impressive and included soaked footwear and wet feet. Quickly adapting, he turned to air cooling, using a coarse fabric for the shoe upper and adding ventilation holes. This allowed air to circulate through the shoe. The idea of a shoe frame that lets air flow through it is brilliant. The final test was soon to come. By giving the shoes to a runner who had once promised to run a marathon in his hands if Sakaguchi made the perfect shoe, the decision was clear. They were a success. Even after running for 30 kilometers, the runner's feet appeared completely unharmed. No blisters were seen. The runner is in disbelief, since his or her soles are only mildly red after covering the marathon distance. But of course, every success story has its hurdles. A factory fire in 1952 momentarily halts production, but guess what emerges from the ashes? The Maripou is a foam-soled sensation that takes the market by storm. And then, the piece de resistance, the magic runner. Its air circulation system and innovative design make it a hit among runners, proving that Onitsuka's dedication to comfort and performance knows no bounds. In 1953, Onitsuka Tiger's high-performance shoes garnered local and global attention. The brand became synonymous with excellence, with basketball teams clamoring for a pair worldwide. The marathon's success wasn't a one-time affair. Shikigi Tanaka's victorious run at the 1951 Boston Marathon was just the beginning. The ripple effect was felt across the running community, and by 1955, Onitsuka Tiger had firmly established itself as a leading name in marathon footwear, with athletes setting records in their tiger-clad strides. In the swinging 60s, the sporting world buzzing with energy. Amid it all, the Onitsuka Tiger wasn't just a shoe, it was a sensation echoing across continents. And then, in 1962, we get this exciting crossover of business and academia right at Onitsuka's Kobe headquarters. The main character in this scene is Phil Knight, a go-getter American businessman and former runner with a fresh PhD in his pocket. He pitches this bold idea to the Japanese bigwigs. Let's export Onitsuka's incredible kicks to the massive American market. Fresh from Stanford with a PhD thesis that practically shouts about the untapped potential of Japanese shoe companies in the US, Knight lays it all out. Market size, Japanese product dominance, and of course, the unbeatable quality of Onitsuka's shoes. Knight dreams of shaking things up in a market ruled by Adidas by offering top-notch quality at a price that won't break the bank. As the 1960s unfolded, the collaboration faced more hurdles. Shipments arrived fashionably late and legal threats loomed, giving Onitsuka a run for its money. The changing tides made it clear that Onitsuka was losing control of the American shoe market. Sensing the competition, Onitsuka attempted to take over Nike. He offered capital and experience, trying to cash out the fledgling company. But Knight and Bowerman stood firm, refusing to sell. In 1972, the partnership officially ended, marking the rise of Nike. Onitsuka had its glory days in the 60s, even having its shoes used by the Japanese team in the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. The iconic tiger stripe logo became the face of the brand. By 1977, Onitsuka merged into ASICS, an acronym for a Latin phrase meaning a sound mind in a sound body. Kicking off the decade, ASICS introduced the Fabra Superlight basketball shoe, a revolutionary design that integrated super lightweight EVA material. Over the following years, ASICS continued pushing the envelope, introducing more advanced models with features like Airflex holes and a stabilizer pillar structure, making their shoes lighter and more performance-oriented. One of ASICS' standout innovations during this period was the development of ASICS Gel, a silicone cushioning material that served as a groundbreaking response to Nike Air's cushioning system. ASICS Gel, placed in the shoe's midsole, enhanced protection and shock absorption. Employing multiple layers created a soft foam that significantly improved impact absorption, especially in the heel. The company didn't stop there. By 1990, ASICS unveiled the Research Institute of Sports Science in Kobe, Japan. This state-of-the-art facility featured tennis courts, pools, gymnasiums, and specialized laboratories dedicated to testing, researching, and developing sports equipment. The goal was clear: to keep ASICS at the forefront of innovation, ensuring the highest level of performance for athletes and consumers alike. ASICS' product range expanded to cover various sports including tennis, track and field, volleyball, wrestling, and more. The company's global presence spread across Asia, North America, Europe, and the Pacific, solidifying its position as a major player in the athletic footwear industry. However, ASICS faced a different kind of battle in the media. The 1980s were about product development and establishing a brand image and narrative. ASICS became associated with cutting-edge technology, performance excellence, and a commitment to staying ahead of the curve. While Nike chased celebrity endorsements, ASICS stayed true to sports, sponsoring athletes and teams. Novak Djokovic and the Australian cricket team became part of the ASICS family. And did you know that Bruce Lee himself wore those iconic Onitsuka Tiger Mexico 66s? Talk about making a mark in pop culture. Expanding beyond footwear, ASICS ventured into clothing and collaborated with designers and athletes. The brand's diversification extended to outdoor brands with the acquisitions of Haglofs and Runkeeper. In 2007, ASICS bid farewell to its founder, Kihachiro Onitsuka, who remained active in the company until his final days. Celebrating Kihachiro Onitsuka's legacy, ASICS released products featuring a sunflower painted by the visionary. Operating through 1,900 direct outlet stores globally, ASICS made headlines by withdrawing from independent retailers in the UK and opting for online and larger retailers. While Nike claimed the title of the largest athletic shoe supplier globally, ASICS retained its status as a valued and innovative player in the athletic world. Kihachiro Onitsuka's initial foray into shoe development, devoid of experience, blossomed into one of Japan's most successful footwear brands, emphasizing quality, consistency, and a mission to rejuvenate a generation. As of November 6, 2023, ASICS boasts a net worth of $6.17 billion, with ASICS America employing 7,864 individuals and a revenue per employee ratio of $14,050,065. In 2022, ASICS America reached its peak revenue of $110.5 billion. So whether you're lacing up your ASICS for a run or just admiring those sleek kicks, remember, it all started with one man's vision and a determination to make the world move a bit more. Did this story inspire you? What lessons did you learn from it? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe. See ya!